Hello, everyone. So let's talk now about the first part of the discussion, which is what to do before a crisis happens. What can I do in order to prevent a crisis from exploding? So in this case, we analyzed the Dell Health case. So in this case, there is a time span between when the incident happens, and when the crisis explodes to mass media. Okay, in some of the cases, you don't have that time gap. Okay, and the crisis happens immediately. And it's important to notice, as you did, that this happened in 2005, and today the acceleration at which news gets spread is much faster. So, what can I do if I am a big company or a small company to prevent the crisis from happening? And as Patrick said, the problem that Dell had here, I mean, we're going to focus not on the customer service problem or the product quality problem, which is another problem itself, but we're going to focus on the reputation management, on the online reputation management. So from a communication point of view. So what can a company like this do? And there are two things basically. As Virna said, the first thing that we need to use, well, the first thing that we need to do is listen, for which I need social listening tools. Because, I mean, for a big brand like Dell, there are so many comments, posts about the brand that you cannot track them manually, of course. So, what kinds of things can I measure with these social listening tools? I would like to focus on five things. Number one is the booth monitoring. So how many mentions about my brand are out there and how they increase in a matter of hours or even minutes. Okay, so I need to receive early warnings, alerts in a matter of minutes or hours, not days. Um, it's important here to track not only your brand, but also the brand of your competitors to see, I mean, if it's something general about your industry sector or it's just something particular about your brand. Number two is the brand sentiment. Maybe a lot of people are talking about you about something positive. Maybe you did a viral marketing campaign and is going successful, or a promotion. And sometimes happens, there are not good communication among the different departments. So brand sentiment is categorizing all the comments that are said about your brand in positive, neutral, or negative, okay, according to the semantic of the post in which your brand is mentioned. And again, you can do that automatically or manually. Number three is trending topics. What are they saying? The thing is that by categorizing the conversations into different topics, you can deliver the right information to the right people within the organization. For example, which product are they talking about? Are they talking about the brand? So you can channel the conversation properly within the organization so that it is actionable. Um, Number four is where the conversation is taking place. What are the forums in which the conversation is taking place? Because maybe, or no, because you should respond where the conversation is taking place, on top of your own channel, but at least for sure where the conversation is taking place. And number five is who are the opinion leaders. It's not the same, of course, a comment about your brand said by a person like Jeff Jarvis than from any other regular customer that is not as influential. So that does not mean that you need to ignore the comments coming from non-influencers, but at least you definitely need to know when an influencer is talking about you, because you can also turn it out into a good opportunity as well if you react properly, if you deliver a new laptop or whatever. So for doing all these kinds of things, there are tools like Tracker, for example. Um, I use a Nielsen Booth Metric, which is a little bit more expensive. There is another called Brand Eye, or if you are a small company, you can simply use Google Alerts. But it's definitely necessary to monitor to listen what they are telling about your brand. Now, then we move to the next part. I guess that Jean, you were somehow explaining that in your post, which is I want to join the conversation. I cannot control the conversation, but I can join that conversation. So for that, you need a community manager or a team of community management. Um, this community manager is the voice of the company in the social media and the voice of social media within the company. Okay. Then there is this rule of three, which means that if you have responded to a certain user more than 3 times, this is not a conversation, this is an argument. So never respond more than 3 times. Don't feed the trolls. It's important when there is the trolls are these people that are always negative about your brand, no matter what you say. They always find excuses to keep talking negatively about you, but they keep using your brand. So um, don't feed the trolls. You cannot forbid them if they don't violate the rules, but at least not feed them with more information, because whatever you say, they're going to use that against you. So you need to have clear policies as well, who is allowed to talk on behalf of the company. Only the people in the communication team, any employee. I mean, all the possible scenarios are fine, but there need to be clear policies. Number 5 is you need to identify very clearly what is a crisis versus what is not. Okay, and again, as I said in the brain teaser, sometimes the right action is do nothing. Okay, so please don't overreact. But those are the 2 things that we meant that we need: listen and join in. So before the crisis, we are, I would say, in a lifeguard boat. Okay, we are just watching what happens and joining the conversation when appropriate. Now, let's move to a more challenging part, which is what to do while the crisis is there. We're going to analyze some interesting real life examples. Let's go for it.